먼저 조지아 하원 제101 지구의 샘 박 후보부터 시작하겠습니다. Mr. Sam Park, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for organizing this fantastic event. 안녕하세요. 저는 유리한 한국의 조지주 하원 의원입니다. So good evening, my name is Sam Park, the only Korean American legislator currently serving and the first Asian American Democrat ever elected to the Georgia State Legislature. It is my honor to be here with you tonight, and I want to thank everyone who has supported me along the way. I would not be here today if not for you. For the past 4 years, I've had the privilege of representing the heart of Gwinnett County, the cities of Lawrenceville and Sewanee at our state capital. I've also had the opportunity to serve in leadership as a deputy whip in the Georgia House Democratic Caucus and as vice chair of the Gwinnett County delegation. For those who may not know me, I first ran in 2016 against a 3-term Republican chairwoman after my mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Her experience taught me that access to health care is a matter of life or death. Her battle inspired me to stand and fight for the 1.4 million Georgians who do not have access to health care today. And so against all odds, I decided to stand and fight for the health and well-being of my fellow neighbors. No one recruited me to run, and people in both the Democratic and Republican Party thought I could not win. However, with the clear vision of a better Georgia, grounded in shared values of faith, family, and hard work, with my desire to help my neighbors, I built a diverse coalition of Black, white, Latino, Asian, young and old, conservative and liberal, and together we won and made history. I decided to run as a Democrat because in 2014, Georgia Republicans blocked Medicaid expansion, which would have increased access to health care for more than 500,000 Georgians, brought billions of dollars to strengthen our healthcare infrastructure and create more than 30,000 jobs in the healthcare industry. Moreover, the Democratic Party was the only party working to expand access to healthcare in America. You'll hear both Republicans and Democrats say they want to provide everyone with healthcare. But I encourage you to look at what they do, not what they say. Let their actions speak for themselves. For example, it was the Democratic Party that passed the Affordable Care Act, which allowed more than 20 million Americans to obtain health insurance for the very first time. On the other hand, the Republican Party has voted more than 54 times to repeal this law that has helped millions of Americans and have proposed nothing to replace it. Even in the middle of this pandemic, 18 Republican states, including Georgia, are fighting in the courts to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which, if they are successful, will terminate health insurance for millions of Americans. As a new legislator in the Democratic Party, I was pleasantly surprised to learn that the issues I cared about and the concerns that people cared about were the issues the Democratic Party fought for. The Democratic Party did not tell me what to do, and they certainly did not tell me how to vote on legislation that came to the House floor. As a Georgian, a Korean American, as someone who cared about my community, I voted my conscience and my district. I influenced the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party represents we the people. The Democratic Party represents and reflects the diversity of our communities, allowing us to celebrate our cultural and ethnic heritages, and I'm very proud of my Korean heritage, while also uniting us based on our shared American values of liberty, equality, and justice for all. So during the past 4 years, as a proud Democrat in the Georgia State Legislature, I have fought to build a better Georgia, and I hope I have an opportunity to continue to serve, to bring about the vision I have for my home state of Georgia. I believe in a healthier, stronger Georgia, where everyone who calls Georgia home has access to health care, where they can go to the doctor without worrying about going bankrupt. A Georgia that believes in common sense reforms that will reduce gun violence and keep our community safe, rather than allow guns to be on college campuses, which is exactly what Georgia Republicans did in 2017. I'm working to protect the American dream for the next generation, which for me requires 3 things. First, to defend our democracy by ensuring every American can vote safely and securely. Second, to invest in working families and provide opportunities for them to work hard and take care of their families. And third, to invest in the education of every Georgian. I was shocked when Georgia Republicans voted to cut $1 billion from our K through 12 public schools just a few months ago. And I know they will continue to cut the education budget because that is exactly what they did after the 2008 Great Recession. For more than a decade, they underfunded education in Georgia, which takes away and limits the opportunities of your kids and the next generation. Lastly, my vision for a better Georgia requires working to fulfill the founding promise of this country by ensuring liberty and justice for all Georgians, for all Americans of every background. During the past 4 years, I've introduced legislation to prohibit discrimination in employment, housing, and public accommodations. I have fought and defeated Republican-led efforts to attack minority communities and immigrants. And I will always stand and fight so that every Georgian is treated with equal dignity in our state and has an opportunity to pursue their American dream and thrive. As we face the most important and consequential election in our lifetimes, from the bottom of my heart, I want to encourage each and every one of you to use the power you have and to vote for Democrats up and down the ticket. We are facing incredibly challenging times, and we need new leadership. We cannot afford 4 more years of Trump and the Republican Party. They have weakened our nation by allowing the coronavirus to ravage our nation, infecting more than 7 million, killing more than 200,000 Americans. This is unprecedented. Rather than take responsibility for their actions, they blame China and Democrats and do nothing. We need leadership that will condemn racism rather than use racist rhetoric such as the China virus, which puts all Asian American families at risk, yours and mine. We need leadership that will unify us as one nation under God if we are to overcome the challenges we face. And we need leadership that will strengthen our democracy by allowing every American to vote so that we, the people, you and me, have the freedom to determine our future. As a voter in America, each of you have incredible power and influence in this country. You have the power to determine who will be our next president, senator, state legislator, and county commissioner. You have the power to influence every issue you care about. If the Korean community wants more services translated in Korean, we can do that. If the Korean community wants to establish a Koreatown in Gwinnett, we can do that. But Korean Americans must rise up and participate in our democracy and vote. Be counted in the U.S. Census and vote so your voice is heard. Gwinnett County is becoming democratic for the foreseeable future. This is a great opportunity for the Korean American community to be a part of the changing landscape where our political representation better reflects the communities they serve. The Democratic Party is diverse and welcomes all. So I would encourage the Korean community to lean in, get involved, and be a part of the Democratic Party so that together we, the people, have an opportunity to determine our future. As I'll likely be the next chairman of the Gwinnett County delegation next year, I look forward to working with a new Democratic majority in the Gwinnett County Commission to ensure the will of the people is done. So again, now is the time to rise up and make your voices heard. If the Korean community wants to establish a Koreatown, I will do everything in my power to work with state and local Democratic elected officials to get it done. In closing, while these are difficult times, I have faith that we, the people, shall persevere, overcome, and make this nation greater and stronger by working together as one nation to fulfill this country's founding promise of liberty, equality, and justice for all. So thank you so much for your time. 우리 애틀랜타 할인 위해서, 우리 미국 나라 위해서 꼭 투표해주세요. 감사합니다.
네, Mr. Sam Park, thank you very much for your remarks.